I haven't even gotten any of the articles. We're like at a half an hour. Um, there is an issue, maybe. It depends, and we don't know exactly what the depend means. But there is an issue, and this was posted December 2nd, and um, we've had people come into the staking Telegram channel and the tech only Telegram channel and say, "Hey, I can't send or unstake my Theta." I'm like, well, if you look back in all the postings, that there was one that said issues with unstaking Theta or Tfuel, and this would have been the exact same thing. Now, if, and this is where, devil is in the details, if you have an error code with this encoding hex error slash U plus 002E, it falls under this. They are aware of it, and some people can send, some people can't, some people can stake, some people can't. And so I don't know what it is. Some of them have everything up to date. When this came out before I left, um, I could unstake, and I, kind of put it in there and said, this is not happening to me. It may happen to someone else. Well, thank you, Jetta Red, for kind of chiming in. He has been in retirement. He's done some amazing family things. In fact, I'm trying to talk him into a live stream on Sunday so that we can kind of, get a lot of these errors taken care of, or sorry, questions addressed. This one is still outstanding, but what he found was if you use a ledger, you may run into this issue. If you use a Trezor, you won't. So one of the things you may want to think about going forward, because I'm thinking about it, is that right now, some people are having issues on staking if they use a ledger. If they use a Trezor, they don't have that issue. Now, this kind of gets a little bit more detailed in the tech side, but if you put the 24 words that you have on your ledger, if you put those 24 words on a Trezor, you have the same thing, just one branded ledger, the other branded Trezor. That's one way to have some redundancy. That's one way to have two different hardware wallets, two different vendors. But the technology is the same because there was some other stuff that was going on in the tech only, where someone was saying, my 24 words used to work and hold my coins, and now those same 24 words don't. Well, I hate to break it to people that believe that, but your 24 words are your 24 words, and it's physics, it's mathematics, it's the way of the world. But if you have the correct 24 words in the correct order, those 24 words will be your private keys that will always work. I, I, there's no other way around it. It's like saying gravity works sometimes, doesn't work other times. It made people feel uncomfortable, like, oh my gosh, maybe my 24 words won't really work one time. And I can say that that is just misinformation, because that's not how it works. Your 24 words that you have in the correct order will always work with whatever hardware wallet has that particular standard. We're so if you're having problems with Theta T Fuel, they are aware of it, and hopefully they will get that resolved. So there was a question like, what are you guys doing on staking? We're not there yet. And there were some legitimate answers. And one was, I'm testing. I'm making sure that I'm ready. So by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So test those wallets. Get your ledger out. Get your hardware wallet out. Get your Excel spreadsheet out. We've talked about this. I've talked about this forever. During the downtime, it was like, okay, make sure you are aware of where all your coins are. Make sure you are aware of what you have, where they are, on what platform. So prepare now, because during the run, um, I'm going to be taking care of my stuff first, and then, everybody else secondary, because I'm human and I want to get out with as much as I can this time. So prepare now. Don't prepare when things are running, because there may not be many people in the Telegram channel because they're focusing on their own stuff. So one other thing, and this is a Christmas present from Jay, because we talked about this, but with Jay retiring, after this run, don't worry, everybody, when he said this and people are like, oh my gosh, is he gonna? No, we're going through the entire run. That instead of having a thumb drive, which would take a lot of work and sending and that type of thing, um, you or there is now the ability, if you've made a purchase on the bitcoinacademy.net site, which is Jay's classes, you can go to that particular class. So you can just go down like, okay, trading education course. I'm going to go to intro to trading because that's the one that I purchased, 1 through 3. You click on the watch now, you'll be taken to this page. And so you can buy the course bundle, or you can watch now. So if you click watch now, which will take you to that particular video, you'll see the video, but you'll see down below, there's download video here. This site will be up all through the end of 2025. So, the December 31st, 2025, this site will be going down, and you can take all the videos that you need, store them on whatever device. I recommend backing everything up in triplicate. There's easy ways to do that, but make sure that you download them, and I'll remind you along the way. I'm going to try to figure out how to send out an email to everybody that has purchased, but don't wait till last minute, and don't wait until 2026 and say, hey George, could I get that video? Because I'm going to say, hey, I'm retired now. I'm probably on the beach, and I'll get to it. Um, prepare, do things in advance and not last minute, and it'll make it much easier. Okay, I think I have all of that, and we're going to go to scams, hacks, and breaches. So, crypto phishing scams are rising during the holiday shopping season. Cybersecurity experts warned that crypto phishing attacks are anticipated to spike in December as scammers aim to capitalize on the Christmas holiday shopping season. In November, over 9,200 crypto investors collectively lost almost 9.4 million to phishing scams, according to a December 3rd post from Scan Sniffer, a platform monitoring crypto scams. Malicious signatures remain the deadliest weapon for crypto scammers, added the platform. Signing a malicious blockchain transaction could give the attacker full control over the wallet's digital assets, resulting in wallet draining attacks. That one is really, you have to be careful. Do not sign a smart contract or log into a particular website that you're not aware of, because it may force you to sign a smart contract. So just be vigilant what you're doing, where you're logging in, and never click on a link in an email. Go directly to a website. And if you think you're getting a free airdrop that's worth $1 million, think again. That could be one reason where you would go to a website and log in so you can see what the airdrop is. Most of the airdrops really aren't are kind of worthless. So is it worth losing your crypto over some random potential airdrop that may or may not be there? If you see a transaction in your blockchain wallet and it says, oh, you have 3,000 in USDT, go to this website and connect your wallet and we'll drop it in there. No, that's not how it works. That's a total scam. So just be careful. This one I thought was just, they're getting really creative, but smartphone scareware cracked screen as a result of a virus. That looks like a cracked screen, doesn't it? Well, it's not. Scareware is a type of malicious advertisement designed to frighten users into believing their device is infected with a virus or has a critical issue. It typically manifests as a pop-up message or alert that mimics legitimate security warnings. The primary purpose of this scareware is to trick users into downloading unnecessary software or paying for fake security services. Recently, I stumbled across a new scareware technique that mimics a cracked smartphone screen that results in fake virus infection in the video below. So I kind of stumbled across this as my research. There are a bunch of different ones that you can kind of scroll through and see, and they are scareware. And just don't fall for it. You can always turn off your phone, turn it back on, and see if it was really a virus, scareware, something. Because if this person with the cracked screen would have turned off their phone, they would have seen that it was total BS. So, novel phishing campaign uses corrupted Word documents to evade security. This one I thought was also really interesting. A novel phishing attack abuses Microsoft Word's file recovery feature by sending corrupt Word documents as email attachments, allowing them to bypass security software due to their damaged state but still be recoverable by the application. A new phishing campaign discovered by malware hunting firm Any.Run utilizes intentionally corrupt Word documents as attachments and emails that pretend to be from payroll and human resource department. And this is probably going to be spread into other places like, oh, your bank is sending you this information about your mortgage, blah, 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 if you have a mortgage. When opening the attachment, Word will detect the file is corrupt and state it found unreadable content in the file, asking if you wish to recover it. These phishing documents are corrupt in such a way that they are easily recoverable, displaying a document that tells the target to scan a QR code to retrieve a document. As you can see below, these documents are branded with the logo and the targeted company, such as campaigns targeting Daily Mail shown below. Scanning the QR code will bring the user to a phishing site that pretends to be Microsoft login, attempting to steal the user's contents, or sorry, credentials. So be aware of this. If a file comes in as corrupt, you may want to reply to that person, group, whatever, and say, hey, can you send that again? And if you don't get it, or if it gets corrupt again, then maybe pick up a phone and talk to them. So FBI warns iPhone and Android users, stop sending texts. Ugh, here we go. So timing is everything. Just as Apple's adoption of RCS has seemed to signal a return to text messaging versus the unstoppable growth of WhatsApp, then along comes a surprise new hurdle to stop this in its tracks. While messaging Android to Android or iPhone to iPhone is secure, messaging from one to another is not. Now, even the FBI and CISA and the US Cyber Defense Agency are warning Americans to use responsibly encrypted messaging and phone calls when they can. The backdrop is a Chinese hacking network that is reportedly ongoing and likely larger in scale than previously understood. Fully encrypted comms is the best defense against this compromise, and Americans are being urged to use that whenever possible. Basically, bottom line, our communications, the normal way we communicate on our phones, is no longer secure. The FBI is coming out and saying, hey, you should use encrypted communications because what's happening on the Chinese front of attacking US citizens. So this may be the time where you have a conversation with people in your family like, hey, I use Signal. Why don't you use Signal too? Oh, yes, because the FBI warns that these communications may not be secure. So, I know Christmas is coming up. I'm going to try to do something a little bit more on this. This came out yesterday on the 4th, so I haven't had a full, time frame to digest it and make suggestions, but just be aware that that is what's going on. We're going to go on to crypto news. Brazil proposes to ban stablecoin withdrawals to self-custodial wallets. Brazil is the second largest market for stablecoin transactions and may ban stablecoin withdrawals to self-custodial custody wallets in MetaMask. Brazil is considering a ban on stablecoin withdrawals to self-custodial wallets, uh, coinciding with the Brazil real hitting an all-time low against the United States dollar. Basically, what they don't want to have happen is all Brazilians go into stablecoin to the US dollar and make the real drop even more. So just know that. I don't know if that's going to pass. It's still in the process of legislation, and just be aware of that. So I don't know if you all heard about this. I woke up and I was like, oh, I didn't know that South Korea declared martial law. Well, they declared martial law, and that kind of dropped Bitcoin. But obviously, as we can see from the price of Bitcoin, I think the last time we looked, Jay, what was it? It was 103 or so. It is unstoppable right now, and it's great to see. But there was a little bit of a blip. because the South Korean president declared martial law, and then I think a couple hours later, it went away. So XRP cuts reserve requirements by 90%, allowing for smaller new wallets. And this is good to know for anybody that has an old XRP wallet on Exodus, on Ledger, on whatever device you had. You may have had an older wallet. You can go back in and get those 9 XRP because you used to have 10. XRP Ledger reduced base reserve requirements from 10 XRP, which was roughly 25 bucks, to just 1 XRP on December 2nd, blockchain data shows. This allows new network users to fund their wallets with smaller amount of cryptocurrency, potentially reducing a barrier to adoption. It also allows users to spend some XRP they have otherwise been told to be held in reserve. So if you have an old wallet, go back, dig through, get it out, and send it to your new wallet. So we're going to go on to technology news. Nightmare Zipcar outage is warning against complete app dependency. An app outage that locked numerous rental car customers out of their vehicles is a reminder the perils of completely relying on apps for basic functionality, especially when those apps have seamless limited support resources. As reported on 404 Media today, Zipcar experienced an outage on Friday that prevented the app from functioning properly for numerous users. Without the app support, people could not unlock cars to start rentals, open cars that didn't come with keys, lock cars, return cars before their rental period expired. And the reason why I bring this up, I've never done a Zipcar, but you know that I'm here in New York. I brought a lot of cash just because people typically don't turn away cash. And as you know, because I've been in technology so long, and as people are experiencing with trying to unstake, their Theta or T-Fuel, sometimes there are real big bumps in technology. And just relying 100% on technology isn't always the best way to do it. Now, Zipcar, yeah, they've probably fixed this app issue. Theta, T-Fuel, yeah, they're absolutely going to fix that issue. So no one needs to stress out. But if you're going to try to get on a subway and your credit card doesn't work or your Apple Pay doesn't work, having cash, having a backup plan is the best solution. Backing up your files is in multiple places is one way to protect yourself. Just don't think that there's one way to do things. And this kind of reminds me of that. So if people were having issues on Ledger Live because it wasn't syncing right and they wanted to send out Bitcoin and they're like, oh my gosh, or Ethereum, oh my gosh, it doesn't work. I'm having a problem with Ledger Live. Well, you can take your Ledger hardware wallet and you can go to a wallet outside of Ledger Live and you can send and receive. Ledger Live is just one window into a particular blockchain. There are other ways of dealing with the technology. It's good to know that there are other ways to deal with that technology. Some people think that Ledger Live is the only way. I personally don't necessarily like to use Ledger Live on some things because it's not as yeah, it's user friendly, yeah, it's easy to do, but it doesn't give me the information. And plus it's just one way to do it, but I want to make sure that there are multiple ways of doing it. So that's just a reminder of that. I don't know how many people use Zello. Zello asks users to reset passwords after a security incident. Zello is warning customers to reset their passwords if their account was created before November 2nd in what appears to be another security breach. Zello is a mobile service with over 140 million users that allow first responders, hospitality services, transportation, and family and friends to communicate via their mobile phone using a push-to-talk app. Over the past 2 weeks, numerous people have received security notices from Zello on November 15th asking them to reset their password. So if you use Zello and you didn't get the email because it went to spam, please go in and update your password. So FTC bans brokers from selling American sensitive location data. Today, the FTC banned data broker Mobile Walla and Gravy Analytics from harvesting and selling America's location tracking data linked to sensitive locations like churches, healthcare facilities, military installations, and schools. The FTC says Mobile, Walla, and Gravy Analytics unlawfully collected and sold location data collected from consumers, including data linked to their visits to places of worship and health related locations. So I guess the FTC is doing something good, and we'll see if these data brokers actually adhere to it, and they could say, well, we're not in this country, so we actually really don't have to, but let's see what happens. And this one, I think we've all been waiting for. I certainly have. But injunction halts enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act. What's next? On December 3rd, 2024, the U.S. District Court for Eastern Districts of Texas issued a nationwide preliminary injunction temporarily blocking enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act and its reporting rule. This rule effectively halts the requirements for reporting companies to disclose beneficial ownership information to the FinCEN group, in spite of the looming January 1st, 2025 compliance deadline for reporting companies formed prior to 2024. If you formed a company in 2024, if you formed a trust that has a bank account, you are required to file that with FinCEN, and the penalties on it are it's like a $10,000 fine and $500 a day. I don't want to mess with that. It's definitely FinCEN. The court's decision was based on assessment that the CTA and reporting rule likely violate constitutional protections that are likely outside of Congress's power. The ruling, however, is not a final determination of CTA's constitutionality. Instead, it temporarily halts enforcement while the case proceeds, as the court order states. And you can read through that. So don't think that we're out of the woods yet. Make sure you understand what your requirements are when you hold, any type of company, and stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I've heard that they may rush this to the Supreme Court. They may do something with this particular administration because they like to just, put lots of roadblocks up for us small business folk. But really, that's all I have for today for you, Jay.